No cold open. We're going right into this. Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and I'm here to talk about Game 34 of the regular season, where the Astros lose 3-1 to the Seattle Mariners, losing the series and falling back smack to 500. Okay, there is nothing technically, that is a very important term, technically wrong with this game. Laws of average. Scored 6 runs on Friday, scored 5 runs yesterday. Naturally, a game is going to come where you're not scoring that many. Makes sense. You're down to your 8th starting pitcher in the rotation. You might say, how are you to that number? And I would say Fromber, Javi, McCullers, Garcia, Brown entering the season. Injury, Urquidy gets it. Then probably JP France. And you're down to Belak. I'm sorry, he's like your 7th or 8th starting pitcher on the depth chart entering the season. And so, yeah, by those reasons, you might think, well, it happens. And that's the thing. Games like this are bound to happen. You play 162 games, you're going to lose some of the ones like this. It happens. But the important thing there that you have to remember is you were unopportunistic yesterday. You did not seize that opportunity to beat the Mariners in that game, where you had a 3-1 lead going into the 7th inning. Or bottom of the 8th, excuse me, and had 2 outs. You didn't seize that. You didn't take it. Ergo, games like this suck. Because you're not winning the games you're supposed to win, and then when you drop the games that you're supposed to lose, all of a sudden, you're not a powerhouse, you're looking mediocre. I'm not saying it's done, I'm not saying rebuild, I'm not saying blow it up, that is idiotic. You're fine, it's 34 games in. But, you gotta think about seeding. You gotta think about all that stuff. You might say, Weston, it's May. Why would you already be thinking about... These games matter. These games matter. Seeding will come down to 1 or 2 games at the end of the season. That's how it happens. Whether you win your division or not will come down to like 5 or 6 games, especially this year, where the rest of the division isn't falling off. Everyone said the Rangers were garbage. They're 7 games over 500. They have not fallen into crap yet. Angels look pretty good. They're probably not going to do much. Sorry, Angels fans, I got to beat down on someone. But the rest of your division is no longer going to roll over after you have absolutely pummeled them down and beat them into the dirt for the past 6 years. They're not going to do that anymore. You have to go out and beat them. You didn't today. You lose to the Mariners. And on the note of not seizing the opportunity when it's presented to you, and this game being fine, technically speaking, your 8th starting pitcher gave you an okay start. I'm not going to say that Brandon Belak was great. I'm not. But he was fine. He was okay. 3 runs, 2 of them were earned, got you into the 5th inning for your starter. That's fine. That's fine. For the 8th guy in your rotation, that's fine. That's perfectly okay. You presented him nothing. The bullpen came in and was okay. Gave him 1 run of offense. The offense is lost. It has been lost. You got to send out a search party for them. It's everyone. It's everyone. They're all underperforming. And you might say, well, what about Jordan or what about Tucker? And I'm not saying they're bad. They're not having bad seasons, but they're under what we hoped they would be. And I want to emphasize, I am not going at Jordan. He is going to come alive. Tucker is going to come alive. Every player, I truly believe, is going to come alive. I have no doubts in them. But at this moment in time, they're underperforming what a lot of people thought they would be at. And now, you lose to the Mariners. Here's the thing, right? Here's the good news for you. Your next 12 games, you should dominate. 3 games in LA. I think the Rangers dropped 20 on them this afternoon. 3 games in Chicago. They look terrible. 3 games in the other, or at home for the other Chicago. You might say, well, the Cubs are pretty solid. They're overachieving. And then 3 games at home for Oakland. Those are 12 games up on the ledger that are all very winnable. And because you have underperformed so greatly the past little bit of time, you've got to take, and you might call me wild for saying this, I'm sorry, you got to take at least 8. I would say borderline, you got to take 9 of those. You're going to get Brantley back and Chas McCormick back probably tomorrow. Altuve's hitting again, and he's hitting well in practice. He's fielding again. Maybe get him back in a week or two. You've got to win some of those games. You've got to win 8 to 9 of those, at least. You've buried yourselves. I truly believe they'll come out of it. I have every reason in the world to believe they will. You look at the roster up and down, unless you're going to try to convince me that, oh, X, Y, and Z player are no longer good despite the fact that they were great last year. I don't buy it. They're going to come out of it. They have to here. You are being gifted a stretch of very winnable games. And the good thing is, right, because the hard games are the ones in LA, right? The Angels are the best team you're going to face out of the next 4. Good news for you. You're going to have Hunter Brown, who might be the 3rd to 2nd best starter in the rotation right now. He's 2nd or 3rd right now. He just is. I believe in Javi. I really do. Brown's 2nd right now to this point. You're going to have Brown, Fromber, Javi for the LA series. You're going to have your 3 best pitchers going. Gotta win those. Gotta win those. So I have good news and I have bad news, and I'll start with the bad news, which is this team reminds me so much of the 2020 version of the Astros that just straddled 500 for the entire season and were able to squeak in because it was only a 60-game season, and if you finished 2nd in your division, you made it. So they were able to get there under 500. Here's the good news. That team underperformed for the first 60 games, but once the postseason started, despite the fact that they were still underperforming the entire regular season, as soon as the postseason started, everyone remembered who they were. Everyone remembered who they were. They were 1 game away from winning the pennant against a vastly superior Rays team who had taken a 3-1 lead or a 3-0 lead in the series. And the Astros they forced a game 7. And on top of that, the 2023 Houston Astros, if you were to put them on a field against the 2020 Astros, even as is, would beat the brakes off of them. This team is so much more talented than that one is. And so if this team can figure it out, they're winning the division. But they have got to figure it out. And as you start to get your integral leaders back, as you start to get Brantley back, you get Altuve back. People might not like me saying it, and I know I've beat the drum a whole lot recently, but I feel like I need to. Keep in mind, after his blow-up, there's no quotation, his blow-up in Game 3 of the World Series, McCullers was still the one to give the speech as they popped the bottles after Game 6 of the World Series. He is a leader on this team. He is a leader in that pitching staff. You're going to get 3 big-time leaders back to this team in the next month and a half. Got to take off when you get them back. So yeah, the Astros begin a must-win series. I would borderline say must-sweep series against the Angels tomorrow night in Anaheim. 9:38 Eastern, 8:38 Central. The Astros send Hunter Brown, the diesel, to the mound, and they need him to be a diesel engine for them tomorrow night because the bullpen got used up the past couple games. And the Angels will send Patrick Sandoval to the mound. I'll be here afterwards to talk about it, but as for right now, that's all I have to say. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Astros.